joining me here once again. This is a usual spot for you, sir. You're not going to go anywhere as far as we're concerned. Hank Goldberg, thanks for coming back on the program.
No, thank you. It's nice to know I'm not going anywhere.
You are not, sir. You are not, Hammer. It's Hank Goldberg's Really Good Games. You have your own segment. Before we get to the Really Good Games, though, I'm told, sir, that you have a really good story involving Bob Kuechenberg. What is this about?
Well, last week, Kuechenberg, who lives in a gated community down in Fort Lauderdale, had his place robbed. He was asleep at the time, and the lights went on in his living room, and he thought that perhaps his daughter had come to visit him, and he got out of bed in his skivvies, and he heard some noises, and he reached for a butcher knife and went into the kitchen, and the guy went out the window, and Bob has Super Bowl rings, which the guy had left with, and
really,
the alarm went off, and the cops caught him, and Bob, by the way, got his rings back, and so both parties were lucky. Bob was lucky that he got his rings back, and the guy was lucky the cops caught him and not Cooch.
So he had a cleaver with him and went after the thief that had taken his Super Bowl rings from his house?
Yeah.
Wow.
And, you know, Kuechenberg has 5 rings, 5 championship rings, which is a record for the most rings accomplished with one team in a career.
Yeah, because I know Haley has 5, but clearly that was from multiple teams.
Yeah, and Mark Fleming, I think, had some with Green Bay and some with Miami.
Hank, it's Hank Goldberg's Really Good Games right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Last week, you picked Seattle over Arizona, Denver over Miami, and Baltimore on the road, woof, woof, as you said, over New Orleans. You were 3-1 last week. The Texans spoiled it for you, Hank. What happened in that one?
Well, Ryan Mallett was allowed by his coach to play with a bruised sternum, which he hurt in the pregame warm-up. I don't know why he was allowed to play with that injury, but he certainly played like he was hurt, and he couldn't throw the ball very far. It was very strange. But anyway, I'm not making excuses. I mean, you know, that's why they call it what they call it.
Thank you for your self-editing right there, Hank. I love it. So here are the Really Good Games for week number 13, and we'll go one by one here. Philadelphia at Dallas, the Thanksgiving meat of the Thanksgiving sandwich. What do you have in this one?
Well, you know, Philadelphia's playing its 4th game in 17 days, and you know Sanchez on the road, and he's good for 2 turnovers per game or 2 interceptions per game. And Philadelphia's defense has given up 24 touchdown passes, and nobody's hotter right now than Dallas, who's you know, Tony Romo has won 7 games in his last 8 starts, and they're going to run the ball and keep the ball away from Philadelphia, and I like Dallas in the game. You
like Dallas in this one, and what do you think about Sanchez as the long-term viable quarterback for the Eagles moving forward and a playoff push, Hank?
I'm not sure that, well, for the playoff push, I mean, that's who it's going to be. And I think that offense of theirs suits anybody right now. And but the problem with him is that he has a propensity to turn the ball over at the worst times, and I think it's probably going to hurt Philadelphia in a key situation as they move on. And you'll probably look for that in this game.
Hank
Romo is the guy who has really got himself straightened out right now. He has been protecting the ball, and he's been making big plays, and his offensive line is a big reason for that. They've really been protecting him.
Hank Goldberg says the Dallas Cowboys beat the Philadelphia Eagles. We haven't talked much about this one because we've been so Thanksgiving-centric. Once those 3 games are over, all the focus on the marquee event in Green Bay late Sunday afternoon. New England at Green Bay. Who do you have in this one, Hank?
You know, that's live dog again.
Yes.
But, you know, Green Bay this is a matchup. It's hard to believe that these 2 quarterbacks have never faced each other. And it should be a great game to watch. Everybody's saying that this is a Super Bowl preview. I don't know about that, but it's hard to believe that, you know, just a few weeks ago, Rodgers was telling people to relax, and Brady was being written off. And since that time, Rodgers has thrown like 29 touchdown passes without a mistake at home, and Brady in 7 games is averaging 40 points a game, and he's got two great tight ends to throw the ball. He's got Tim Wright in addition to Bronk. And now they've got a running game. Take your choice, Gray or Blount. And that's the problem with Green Bay. They're like 30th against the run, and I think that'll be the difference in the game. And that's why I like New England in this one. You know, Belichick. It'll be interesting to see what those corners do. I'm looking forward to see what Nelson and Cobb do. The Vikes shut them down last week.
Yes. So you take New England in Green Bay. I only have about 90 seconds for the last two games, so I'll quickly hit San Diego at Baltimore. You think this is a really good game?
San Diego going into the cold weather, and Baltimore, Flacco's playing very well right now, and they've got a running game. I really like the home team a lot in that one. And the last game we'll talk about is Monday night, and I'm going to send Al Woodall up, an old Dookie. They're out of quarterbacks. They could use him.
So why do you think you take Miami in that Monday night, or why do you think Dolphins at Jets is a really good game?
I don't. I just did it to torture you.
Oh, or is it good for your purposes, Hank?
No, you know something. The Dolphins are a touchdown favorite in the game, and they've won all 6 of their wins have been by double digits. The Jets right now are really a pushover. It's a shame, and they're going back to Geno. And they may make good pizza at Geno's, but that's all they're serving up this Thanksgiving weekend is good pizzas and interceptions.
Thanks, Hank. Have a great Thanksgiving. We'll chat with you next week.
Sorry, Rich.
It's all good, Hank. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it.
All the best.
That's same to you. That's Hank Goldberg.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.